Well, hello and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the New Construction Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Anya Christiansen, and I'm very excited to introduce my returning guest today, Quint Lears. Quint, welcome to the show.
Partner, hey, listen, I'm excited when you invited me to come back on the program to talk about, I think, a very important topic that a lot of people are avoiding just simply because it's not fun to talk about. It's one of those less pretty, like it's fun to talk about 3D video and social media, but like the brokers are the big elephant in the room, and how do we tackle this difficult subject? But before we get started, I just want to just kind of reach out or just tell you, I've had some feedback that I'm a little bit too self-promotional.
You are. Well, yeah. I see that you're wearing that new home sales.
So what to tell you is I will not use your platform today to promote my website. I won't do that. Okay. Like today it's all about you and what you're doing. You're doing big things, and congratulations on the new Construction Marketing Academy. That's going to be really big. I think it's an awesome service for frontline.
Thank you. But Quint, for those of the listeners who are not familiar with you,
sorry,
you guys will have to watch this on YouTube if you're listening now. So, for those listeners who may not be familiar with you, can you give us a little bit of a backstory on you? Who is Quint Lears? What's NewHomeSalescom, and what you're all about?
Yeah, so I believe I've been through the highs, the lows, the yeses, and the nos of this business. I've had, months where I've sold lots of homes. I've had homes where I've sold zero, and I've had months where I've sold -2 sales. And the way that you sell -2 homes is you don't sell anything and you have 2 cancellations. So I feel like I'm in a unique position because I've, been through the downturn, been through the highs and lows. And so there's, and through all of that, what I've found and what I believe is that we, in our day-to-day living, have the ability to and have the opportunity to change the destiny of people's lives in a positive way, right? So if at the end of my career, people said, yeah, Quint sold lots of houses, that's not something that gets me through the hard times when I've sold -2 sales in a month. But if I say, look, today I'm going to try to make somebody smile. Today I'm going to see if I can make them laugh. Today I'm going to see if, help them find the right home or help them get the right color choice. But if I frame it under my job is to change the destiny of people's lives in a positive way, it keeps me motivated, it keeps me fresh, it keeps me wanting to learn and make an impact. So, and the way we do that.
That's why you've been successful. So because you look at it and at this angle, and sales is definitely a tough profession, and it's hard to keep that positive mindset unless you do have a bigger why, bigger picture. And I think you've done a great job at that.
I appreciate the encouragement, and likewise, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. So, Quint, if you don't mind telling our listeners a little bit about NewHomeSalescom, why you started it, what the platform's all about, and you guys definitely make sure to check it out.
I have no idea why I started NewHomeSales.com. And people keep asking me, Quint, how do you monetize this thing? Like, how does it monetize? I'm like, I use my credit card, I use cash, whatever I got to do to pay for it. So to me, it's been a passion. Like, I would go to conferences, right? And the big shift happened for me. I'll just tell this to you. When I decided, you know what, I'm not going to pay for advertising. I literally canceled all my advertising, all the ego-driven, I'm on a billboard, I'm on a high-gloss ad, I was in the movie theaters. I canceled all that, and I started investing in training. And that was when I was going to leave the business. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take one last shot and just try to learn from the best in the business. Well, I would go to these conferences, and I would want to go deeper and meet these people and say, could we grab coffee? And these people are busy, top trainers. They would say, well, Quint, let's see you to the next event, or let's contact there. It was kind of like real dismissive. Mm-hmm. So I read a book called Platform by Michael Hyatt. And the premise of that book is you want to have a platform to amplify your voice and to be a connector, to be an influencer. I personally think content marketing is dead. I think that ship sailed 5 years ago. And the trajectory is kind of like this. It went from us I'm going to sell you information to, hey, I'm going to give you information for free, to now we have to pay people to watch our free information, right? And so I'm not talking about expert training or online stuff. What I'm talking about is like, hey, here's a great chili recipe or a lasagna recipe. And then people are going to start reading that. I just think that ship has sailed. There's so much information out there. So the goal now is, how do we become subject matter experts in our field? NewHomeSalescom, my goal is not to just be a content, create content. My goal is to be a connector and influencer, to document the journey of new home sales, to understand the science and the art behind it, to have a voice for the industry where people can share ideas and best practices.
And you've done such a great job at it. I give you so much credit. I know nobody else works as hard as you. And you guys, when you win your national award in Las Vegas and you come out, Quint is right there to interview all the winners. And I know you spent so much time and hours just talking to all the individuals and really getting to know each person and getting all the nits and bits out of them. Watching you do your thing is really impressive to me. So give you a lot of credit for that. Well, definitely the hardest worker in new home sales.
And I love the story behind your story for one to watch. And what a cool story. Coming from Russia, learning and going through the trials and tribulations, and then to come and start winning in your industry. But to document that is just a lot of fun. And I think we need to celebrate each other and learn from each other and be that connector, being not just connected, but being a person who connects other people and influences in that way. And that's my goal.
And you've definitely been that connector. I feel like every single week there's, hey, do you know so-and-so? Do you know so-and-so? I mean, you've personally connected me with so many great people like Chris Hartley. I mean, there's so many more out there that I can't even mention that you've done a great job at that, being a connector. And so Quint is not only new home sales ninja, but he's also a published author. So Quint has a book out. It's called Partnering with Brokers to Win More Sales. And this book was published by NHB. So congratulations on that. And the reason why I wanted to have Quint on today, aside from the fact that Quint and I probably talk more than my husband and I talk, that's one person I spend probably most of my times talking to in the industry, is the fact that I had so many people reach out to me. And when I say, hey, what's a topic that you guys want to learn more about? How can I help? One of the things they always say is, how can we build better relationships with the realtors? How can we get realtors to bring clients to us? And really, how can we make sure that we're selling more through the realtor community? I think if we look at the data from both NHB and NAR, we know that about 90% of all transactions have a realtor attached to them. So people are still definitely using realtors. And so I think it's very important, whether you're in new home sales, to connect with the realtor community, establish those relationships, and really not miss out on those opportunities, because you can't just rely on traffic from your builder. It's up to you as a salesperson to be successful. And one of the ways that you're going to be successful is through building those relationships. So today I really want to dive into, what are your best tips and tricks to establish those relationships with builders? What are some of the best practices from your personal experience? How do we go about that?
Okay, first, I can like this. Simon Sinek says, start with why. Like, why you want to connect with the brokers. And the sad reality is, well, not just the reality right now, is that most people don't. So I really messed up when I named the book. And actually, when you publish with NHB, you don't name the book, they name the book. So, I wrote the content, but they own it. And they came up with partnering with brokers to win more sales.
What would have been your version of the
how to crush thine enemies?
I think that has a lot more
it's way better
marketing ring to it. So
crush thine enemies, and then you'd open up like, here's how you do it. How to create competitive differences that are so difficult to reproduce and win. in new home sales. But the reason why I'm partnering with brokers, if I wanted to write a book that would sell a lot of books, I would have wrote how to not partner with brokers and win more sales. And people are like, get me that, you know what I mean? And so always start with why. And I'll go to different presentations and I'll say, guys, you don't need brokers. You're putting too much emphasis on brokers. And lo and behold, they have a website to sell, or they've got some kind of CRM program to sell. And how do you pay for that? Well, magically, gosh, if you're not paying the brokers, now you've got tens of thousands of dollars to do this. So look at the motive of people when they're sharing with you. I have no motive except I'm a frontline salesperson. I wanted to write a book. Nobody wrote this book yet. And I'm thinking, why do these builders not want to work with brokers when they have the buyers? Let's break it down, okay? Why do we want to work with brokers? Because statistically speaking, they have about 90% of the buyers. Now, why do they have the buyers? Let's break down a couple of different things. Relocation. How many builders have relocation programs that you know of?
I can't think of any.
None of them do. Okay. The real estate agents do. Coldwell Banker, they're some of the big ones. They will pick people up from the airport. They have contracts with military, so they're going to be getting all relocations. What about search engines? Like, oh, wow, like we have the internet now. Well, guess who else has the internet? They do, and they outrank you. They outbeat you. If you go to any city and write in real estate Tucson, real estate California, it's probably not going to be a builder. It's probably going to be a broker. Okay.
Yep. They've done it for a much longer time than the builders, right? The broker community have embraced the technology.
They're better at it
earlier.
And they have more money. And there's I know real estate agents that are spending one real estate agent, $10,000 a month, not the brokerage, just an agent to try to capture leads before anybody else does. Okay. So, and I know there's other builders doing that, but understand the ratio between builder reps and new home and real representatives like real estate licensees is 50-1. So in other words, in an average city, you'll have one new home salesperson and about 50 licensed real estate agents, okay? They bring search engines. They have superior signage. So if you look at a builder sign, usually they don't have signs or they're covered in mud or they're being driven over by a tractor. But real estate agents have thousands of signs in any given city in the most beautiful properties with their big name and number and face plastered right onto it. They're on billboards, so they beat us in signage. Brokers capture the buyers with homes to sell. So how many builders do you know are helping people to sell their used house?
Not many. I think now some of them are starting to partner with, I know Zillow just rolled out a partnership recently with, I know MI Homes is pioneering that, but definitely it's a newer thing that most builders don't have that program.
So it's exciting right now to talk about the future and what's coming next. I mean, you want to sell a program at IBS and get speakers there, you say the future of new home sales, right? But if you want to get a few people there, what about what's the reality right now? What's the sad reality, right? And the reality right now is that very few builders are helping people to get out of their used houses, and most people have to sell their used house first. And a great percentage of those people are going to use that same agent because it's like, hey, Anya, you help me get out of this house. Can you help me find a new home? Okay. They have strong relationships with their buyers. So when an agent comes in or buyer's broker or the buyers come in, I'm like, hey, if you come back without your agent, I'll lower the price. Some builders do that. The problem is it could be their cousin, it could be their mom, it could be their aunt, it could be their best friend. So they leave and they go, wow, this builder told me to cut my best friend out of the lady who just helped me sell my unit, it's helped me out with my kids. So that's a problem. They have relationships that you're just not going to beat. Most builders don't have personal relationships with these buyers that they never, but the brokers do. The ability to show used. So most people want new, but most people also want to at least look at used, or they want to look at everything. So they're going to be like, okay, cool. I want to see your home, Anya, but I want to also check out these other resale homes that are in my area. And no builder's going to be like, hey, look, let me just show them to you. An agent's going to do that. And then the agent's going to build that relationship. Social media. I love the builders. And they're like, oh, we're going to do social media. Now we don't even need brokers anymore. Again, the builders, the 91% of real estate agents have social media and are very effective at it. With builders, it's like 45%. So it's about half. And they're not as good. They're just posting.
Which is crazy. It is crazy. I mean,
it's crazy, but most people are on social media because it's social. Like your stuff, you're like, hey, look at the picture of the world, some of my dogs and this, and oh, look at this beautiful home, right? Builder's not going to do that. Builder's like, hey, look, they're just going to be posting business stuff, which is kind of boring. I mean, people will like the page and it's kind of fun. And I'm encouraging, listen, in my book, I explain like, look, do social media, do website, do all these things, but just understand the reality right now. And I was on a podcast with Kevin Oakley just a week ago, and I told him, I'm like, listen, when brokers stop having the buyers, I'm going to write a new book that says, stop working with brokers now, the new reality of new home sales. So don't think that I'm not like, I'm fixed in my mindset here.
Well, no, but the reality is 90% of all buyers have an agent. So if you're not capturing that 90%, you're missing out on a huge chunk.
Very true. So let's break down on how do we do this. So for the first thing is we need to understand the reality is. The reality is 90%. And then how they're beating us. Where do they beat us? And I outline that in the book. So how do I want to position myself if that's the case? There's a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to talk about in the next 30 minutes, like how to do office presentations, grand openings, I'm a big thing about education and handling bonuses. But let's first talk with my goal. My goal is to position myself as their full-time licensed new home sales assistant, right? So usually there's a power struggle. With licensed real estate agents, they're kind of, if I could put it in words, they're like an egomaniac with an inferiority complex. So they've got huge egos, but when they come into my model home, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know the prices. They don't know the this. They don't know that. So instead of me trying to be like, look, let me take over. No, you take out. I'm in this power struggle. I just basically position myself as their assistant. I'll literally go to a real estate office and say, hey, raise your hand if anybody has an assistant. And like one person that raises their hand and everybody's like looking around. Then I say, I want everybody to raise their hand, and everybody raises their hand. Then I will say, guys, everybody here has an assistant now. It's me. I want you to think of me as your full-time licensed new home sales assistant. My job is to make you a lot of money. I'm going to help you find the homes that are not in the MLS, that aren't on Zillow, that aren't in Trulia. And I want you to either call me. Here's my hotline. I call it the New Home Hotline. If you're out there showing what?
Love it. And thinking about like what you're saying, like, I'm going to help you find the homes that are not listed in MLS. Like right now, the inventory is a huge issue, right? So what a great value proposition for a broker to say to their client, hey, I can show you homes that nobody else can show you because Quint introduced me to it.
Now watch this. I give the real estate agents a lot of credit because they have buyers, but guess what I have? I have the product, and I don't bow down to everybody. I'm not like, oh my gosh. So we retain our power, and I let them know, like, hey, look, if you're tired of showing used houses, and then I will also say something like, raise your hand if you've ever lost a deal because of a home inspection. And the whole entire room goes like this, like, yeah, we've all lost deals because of a home inspection. And I'll tell them, listen, I've never lost a deal because of a home inspection. You know why? Because these are brand new homes that nobody's ever lived in or died in or showered or cooked. There's no hair, toenails, termites, no mold. We have a full warranty. When we get done, I will take care of your buyer. I will take care of you. You will look great in this transaction, and I will help you find deals and sell homes that you otherwise would have missed, right? By the way, here's the hotline. You ready? Boom, there it is. The New Home Hotline.
575 New Home.
So there's another quick marketing tip, and I got this from a book, Guerrilla Marketing or something like that. So if you could, and people think like, oh, well, I tried and it wasn't available. Like people ask, how did you get NewHomeSalescom? And I go, oh, it was available. Nobody thought about it. I can't believe nobody else thought about it. And they're just like, what? But the reality is somebody owned it, and I called them. I'm like, listen, you have a great domain. I would like to own it, and I would like to buy it from you. And I ended up paying thousands and thousands of dollars for it. Same thing with this phone number. I paid $1,200 to buy this off of somebody. But to me, it's been very valuable that my phone number is New Home. My license plate is New Home. Nobody's doing stuff like that. So I have people driving when I'm showing the New Home community, and I'm hypnotizing them. I'm saying New Home, you know. But
love it. Think about dedication, you guys. Guy's dedicated.
Well, and back to the advertising. How many times do you do an ad and you blow $1,000 and it's like, that felt really good. I was in the back of the magazine, right? But then after that, it's gone. So I always ask myself when I'm getting into a marketing project, could I resell this? Now, do you think somebody in this name, a builder, my builder, somebody else, let's say if I got out of the business, would want to buy the phone number New Home?
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah, right? And then what if I sold it? What if I rented it to them? So when you're going into branding and marketing things, ask yourself, what lasts? What's great branding? How can I synergize? And would somebody buy it from me in the future? So I paid $1,200. I wouldn't sell it for $1,200. I might not sell it for $5,000 because it's making me a lot of money. And I'll have people that say, Quint, listen, I couldn't get a hold of my broker. I don't remember a number, but I just remember New Home. So I want to call you and ask you a couple of questions. So anyway, just giving you that tip. Recognition. Brokers love recognition. So I'm gonna give you some just brass tacks on. So brokers win, but then we win, right? Because we have the great product and we've got the stuff that they're not gonna find. Appreciation, recognition. How many times when you sell a home with a broker, do you congratulate them afterwards? Next thing, what about congratulating their calling their brokerage and asking to talk to the owner or the qualifying broker? Let's say that you just brought me a deal. I don't tell you this, but I call later and say, hey, listen, owner of Keller Williams and wherever you live, I want to tell you, I just worked with Anya. She sold one of our homes. She's an outstanding real estate agent. If you see her, be sure to give her just high five. She's an amazing person, and you've got an outstanding agent working with you there. Now, when you're walking through the office, let's say the owner of the company says, hey, listen, this builder just called and said that you just sold. Congratulations. They really gave a great review. What about at the sales meeting? Hey, next sales meeting, I want you to give a shout out to Anya for this. So starting at the top and giving that recognition. What about sending something to the office, a trophy, an award, a plaque? Some of these new agents, man, you put a plaque like outstanding new home buyer representative for the month of this, they'll put it up on the wall. They love that stuff. So just think about appreciation and then be specific. People say like, well, you want to build relationships. Well, if you want to build a relationship with somebody, you want to get to know them, right? So what if you get on their kellerwilliams.com, you click on the agent, about me, and it's like, I love animals. I volunteer at the thing. They brag about themselves. So if you're going to do it, say, listen, like I did one realtor presentation for Century 21, and I said, hey, I want to give a big shout out to that. You guys have an outstanding team here, and I love what you're doing in the community. And I named the agent. I said, I love what she's doing with the animal shelter. This agent over here is volunteering with the veterans. And I just started, and one of them got like teary-eyed, and it's genuine because I'm trying to encourage them, and I let them know that I know them and I appreciate them. And then also to connect with with the owner of the company. That has a huge impact.
Yeah, so, and if you think about realtors are salespeople, and most salespeople will work for free, literally for praise. Right? Like,
yeah, matter of fact, in the book,
we want the money.
I did that. I did that in the book. The quote. I have a quote on every. I'll find it. Find the one about praise and okay, good. Listen, it's from Dale Carnegie. It says, "People work for money, but go the extra mile for recognition, praise, and rewards." Dale Carnegie.
Yep.
Right. And I like to say, if you're going the extra mile, give the extra smile. That one's original. So, okay, communicate the little things. I was just in Walmart this morning, and there's a top agent in Las Cruces named Eli. And I knew one of his buyers who bought a couple years ago. They're kind of challenging customers, and they're probably not going to buy, but just when I was wondering, we might be in the future looking for something. How many new home salespeople would call that broker from 2 years ago and say, hey, I wanted to give you a heads up. I met your buyers and they're actually maybe being in the market. They probably wouldn't, right? They're not even going to mention it. They're like, oh, maybe they'll come back and I'll sell it without it. I'm thinking they're probably not going to buy, number one. Number two, if they do, they're going to go back with Eli anyway. So why don't I just call him? So I'm like, Eli, he's like, yeah, what's going on? I'm like, hey, I just met your buyers. They're at Walmart. I mean, they're not totally sure, but they're actually potentially in the market. He's like, oh, seriously? So how does he feel about me? Like, oh, this dude's looking out for me. Yeah, I have no like legal obligation to include him. I just know I'm preempting it. Now I can relax. He's going to follow up with them and be like, hey, Quint told me you're doing this. What we were thinking about it. He'll show them 30, 40, 50 homes. They're going to come back and talk to me. I'm going to get my shot to visit with them. But imagine the trust that builds. So if a buyer stops by, give me an example. You have a home under construction. The buyers come back and they just show the ant. I know the ant's not going to buy. They're just showing it because they're proud aunts in town from California. So I may still call the broker and say, Anya, hey, check it out. Your buyers came in. They brought their aunt. I don't know if she's ready to buy, but I wanted to give you a heads up. Oh, are you serious? Are they going to buy? I don't know, but I just will always keep you in the loop.
That's awesome.
They stopped by the other day. They just wanted to double check the color of the granite. Nothing. They didn't change anything. Oh, wow. But imagine the trust that builds when the other builders are saying, hey, come back without your agent. I'll throw in the fridge. Right. And that's the big fear. And then they do that. So communicate the littles. I say, look to the littles, and you can separate yourself. I like to say in a race, I think Bob Schultz or somebody came up with this where it's like first place horse wins $1 million. Second place wins 10,000, but it's usually just a little bit different. So you can create great trust, momentum, and influence just by doing little things like that. So look for little ways to communicate things, and the brokers love that. Next thing, become a member of the National Association of Realtors. You can become an affiliate member.
Hell yeah.
So when you become an affiliate member, you can present at their meetings. You can do, you get the email list. I mean, that alone, you can instantly email 500 or 1,000 or however members there are. You can advertise with them. You can link with them. We're going to do educational programs. So here's something that I did. I will recommend creating a real educational course, right? Similar to what you're doing with the New Construction Marketing Academy, but make it certified, make it CE course ready. Now, for realtors, and don't make it why I'm the best builder in my area. Make it, hey, here's construction terms. And like I did a course called New Home Sales 101. I charged, I think $50 a ticket. We had 30 people sign up. They got 2 CE credit hours. I'm an official instructor now, and I wrote a 2-hour course.
That's amazing. So how do you get CE certified?
Now there's 2 kinds of things. You can get permanent education, or you can get like a temporary training thing. So to get the temporary training thing, you have to go down to their board. Usually it's in at the Capitol or wherever there is in the state. You take your course and you say, hey, I want to get this certified for CE credit. Your course, I'm going to tell you right now, you should do this. You go down, you don't want to get it approved for one-time credit. So in other words, it's not like part of their curriculum, but now you can provide a course. The agents will sign up. I did another one, Tom Ritchie. I got him to come to Las Cruces. He sent me all of his notes for the program. I got it approved for 6 credit hours. I think we had 95 agents sign up.
That's incredible. So you guys, This is something that just takes a little above and beyond, but something that most new home salespeople will not even think about doing. And think about the value. It's not just, we're doing this event to educate the realtor community, which is great in itself. But if you can also say, hey, and this is going to give you a CE credit, which they're always looking for those CE credits anyway.
They're required to get it.
Exactly.
They're required. And then check it out. I always recommend charging. Now, charge it maybe a little bit less, but you want to know that it's a value. Most agents are really busy. If it's free, I'm thinking this is going to be some kind of advertisement. And people are interested in new homes, how to make more money selling new homes, how to know the ins and outs of your new construction. So that's a great tip. And builders can do that. Instead of just imagine the competitive advantage of not just having a broker open house where we're giving away free coffee and donuts, but hey, you're going to get 2 CE credits. I'm going to give you valuable content and help you make a lot of money in this business. So next thing, power presentations. Again, we talk about that when you get to if you contact your local brokerages and say, look, I've got 15-minute presentation. I want to buy everybody breakfast. Could I come and talk about new construction, what's happening with the market, actually give great content? When you do that, I have a whole outline of like mistakes. Don't make dumb mistakes. Like check if somebody's gluten-free, like make sure you're giving real information. But if you can get in front of the brokers and do that, that's amazing. That's super powerful.
Guess what? When you guys sign up to be a member of NHB, they send you like a weekly market updates almost.
Yeah.
And this is the easiest thing that I found with my own customers, to just read through those market updates. And hey, I go on video and I do this quick market update to my customers, and they think like, wow, Anya is so knowledgeable. But all I did was read it from NHB. So use that information to put together something great for your realtor community.
How many builders are members of the National Association of Realtors? They're not. Usually they're not. So they don't even think about it. So that's it's an affiliate membership. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's going to give you on the inside track. You want to be different, okay? But different in 3 ways. This is what I talk about. Different in a way that's important to the buyer, the consumer, different in a way that's clearly superior, and different in a way that's difficult to reproduce. So the problem with most marketing and most sales is that we're very reproducible. I do a billboard. Now you do 2 billboards. Okay, well, I'm going to do 3 billboards. Well, I'm going to do a high gloss ad and a billboard, but it's just whoever wants to pay the most. What about creating differences that are difficult to reproduce? You know, if I have 500 real estate agents in the town that know New Home Quint, you know, I'm going to call Quint for New Homes. He's my assistant. He's going to help me do that. That's a competitive advantage that's difficult to reproduce. So in your marketing, in your branding, think of things that are difficult to reproduce, clearly superior and important to your customer. Okay. Think about positioning yourself. Why do agents want to avoid new home sales? Well, because they look foolish. They show up, no, look, Anya, you want to work with me because I'm going to protect you and I'm going to do this. But when they get there, they don't know anything. They don't know the community, what's available, what the price is, what the thing is. So part of my training is to train them on what to do when they come to my model home. An example would be like, Anya, listen, think of me as your new home sales assistant. When you come, my job is to provide this, 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 and this, just so you know, like I'm always going to give the best price so you don't have to start negotiating, or we like outline what they can do. And also I recommend, let's not double sell. In other words, when you come, you are their advisor. I recommend, you know, sitting and listening and being a part of the presentation, but some agents get into double selling where I'm demonstrating the gourmet kitchen and they're like, oh, well, I want to show you my sales skills. Look at this. And we're both selling and the customer shuts down and they're like, oh shoot, I don't have a safe island. So in my training, besides giving them good information, I'm training them on the role that they're supposed to play. And it works really well because they don't know. Here's a really good thing. When an agent comes in, and I learned this from Steven Romano, he's a top new home sales professional. I said, give me one of your tips. And he goes, I always try to compliment the real estate agent first when they first come in. So example, let's say you come into my model home. Hey, great to meet you. By the way, you're working with Anya. She's one of the top brokers in the business, great reputation. She's going to take amazing care of you. And usually the agent's like, oh, I didn't pay him to say that. And the buyers go, oh no, I've heard she's great. She's been awesome so far. And they start getting excited. Now, do you think that broker's going to get in my way now and start being a problem, right? Probably not, because I'm hitting them off on the right bat. The buyers like that. I'm complimenting their buyer, and most buyers, I'm complimenting their representative. By the way, I don't like calling it agent. I don't even like realtor. I like representative. You have an outstanding representative. Words are really important. Agent sounds like FBI or something. You got a great representative. She's going to back you up. She was the hardest working person I know. The buyers want to hear that the person they're working with is good. I believe bonuses, this is just, we can argue about this, but I think bonuses are sending the wrong message. It sends the message that, look, this is going to be hard to sell and we're going to pay you more for it. So a lot of real estate agents, when they come in, a lot of representatives, when they come in there, hey, Quint, what's the bonus? If they're asking you what's the compensation in front of the buyer, you haven't done your job, because I'm inoculating that by doing the presentations right off the bat. Does it make sense? So I'm going to be letting them know what the compensation is so they don't have to come in my model and ask me. That's the other reason I do these presentations. But the bonuses send the wrong message because number one, most of the great agents aren't doing it for the bonus. They're really caring about the buyers. The ones that are asking about the bonus are only doing it because the other builders are. And if they say, hey, Quint, what's the bonus? I just go right back into the product. It's an amazing community. It's an amazing home. We've got a great warranty. We're going to take care of your buyer. No. What are you going to pay me extra? Well, we pay this is what we pay, and we're glad to work with you. And I never get bullied by people because they're going to say, well, look, why would I bring you the buyer? Understand something. I'm going to talk to your buyer. Mm-hmm. So if you're saying you're not going to bring me the buyer because we're not offering a bonus, I just let me know now so I can explain that to the buyer, because I'm going to meet with your buyer. You can't think that I'm not going to talk to your buyer, right? Yeah. But let me tell you what we're doing here. We're all working hard. I'm taking less than what a regular broker would get paid. working with some of the best and most talented trade professionals, and we're all working together to build the best product, to serve the customer and build great communities. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, so I can see your point on the bonus. I think it is very regional depending on where you are. So for example, where I am, I wouldn't dream of bringing a customer to a builder and ask what the bonus is. It's just not a standard here where I am. So I think if the builder is offering a bonus, the way I look at it is just extra marketing, because it's like more eyeballs on it, but it's not an expectation from the realtor community. And I think it's crazy if you have a realtor coming into your model say, oh, what's in it for me? Like, you need to pay me a bonus. Like, that's insane. But of course there are some realtors like that. That obviously.
And some builders will buckle, and if that happens, it's a mistake. So the other problem is it's very difficult. It's very easy to reproduce. So you offer this bonus, I offer that bonus. Now this builder's offering a pickup truck. This one's offering a vacation to Hawaii, and it becomes silliness, right? So I'm just saying it sends the wrong message, because as humans, we think, hey, if I'm getting paid more, it's probably going to be more difficult. And I tell people, look, I'm going to take care of all the details. I'm going to make it awesome. Look, the must be present rule doesn't always work, because some of the best and most talented and productive real estate representatives aren't, with all of their buyers at one time. I'm going to call up, hey, your buyer stopped by. This silly rule of like, I'm sorry, on the first visit you didn't come. Okay, well then now you've got the best influencer that's now is kind of like, okay, I got to sell them on now why they shouldn't work with Anya. So like, be some flexibility, like, instead of like, hey, you must be present for some legal term. I forget who it was, but it's in my book. They had the thing like, hey, we want to make you look like a rock star. We prefer if you're there the first time, but if not, let's work together. And back to the bonus thing, most builders, they get in there like, hey, let's give the bonus away as compensation. Then the people come back with the real estate agent before they buy. And now they've given it all away. They've built it into negotiating, right? Mm-hmm. So don't do that.
Yeah, I so agree with you on the must be present rule. I think that is ridiculous. You need to make it very easy for realtors to bring your clients. When I have an open house of my own and I have a client and I saw that there's an open house down the street that I think is perfect for my client, I have no problem calling that realtor and saying, hey, guess what? My client is coming over to the open house. And even if I don't call, never in my wildest dreams that realtor is going to say, oh, you're not going to get paid on this transaction because you didn't show up with your client. So it should be the same thing with the builder. Like, realtors work with the clients they have established relationships with them. Yeah. A lot of times they spend months and months and months to even get them to qualify, to get them across that line, to start looking for a home. And then suddenly the client comes in on, their day off when the realtor wasn't available, and suddenly the realtor's cut out of the transaction. That is insane. And I think it gives a really, really bad reputation to the builders and realtors talk.
Yeah. So two more things, and we're gonna wrap it up. If they can't find you, you don't exist. And the reality is if you're in new home sales, then you should be selling in areas that ahead of Google Maps. See, I believe that new home salespeople are the leaders of the economy. They lead style design. They lead the community. Even commercial real estate follows new home sales because they're counting permits. I'm in areas that just don't even exist yet on Zillow or Trulia, and I could come up with a fake ad and say, hey, this one could look like this. But the reality is, if I'm selling dirt in areas where they're putting in streets, I don't exist. So maps are really good. Create graphics, however you can do to get people out there is so important. And then we're selling new homes. So we're like, oh, you don't want to buy a used house. Oh, they're smelly and gross. And I think that's a very low level of sales right there, because it's not tapping into the higher levels. But it's a shame to go, I call it lean, clean, and mean. So most buyers don't know what a SEER rating is. Most buyers don't know what a low E stands for, or HERS rating, but they know what peanuts and soda can on the bottom or beer bottle, they know what that means. It means disrespect. It means that you're not caring. It means a dirty, dangerous job site. So if we're going to hit them up on, hey, don't buy a gross, dirty, used house, and then we take them to a house and it's trashed, that's a problem. Well, people understand it's a construction zone. No, they don't understand. They see it and they buy emotionally. So understand, new homes don't sell themselves, or at least not after 6. They don't, where I'm at. I'm selling homes that don't exist, where people have to wait, buy something that they can't see. It's very challenging. So position yourself, again, just to wrap it up, position yourself as an expert, as an assistant, help the brokers get involved with the National Association of Realtors, become aligned with them. I say avoid bonuses unless it is truly a difficult product to sell. They say, look, we understand this one's going to be hard. Let's help grease the wheels. But be careful about stuff like that. And whenever I'm doing something, I ask, hey, could somebody else reproduce this? No, it's hard, right? It's easy to be like, oh, they're going to give a car. I'm going to give a truck. I'm going to give it, but if you're, create differences that are difficult to reproduce, the broker must be present. I think, that's difficult, all the situations. Learn from the brokers. Last thing is always learn from the brokers. I got to wrap it up. I'm getting back here, but always a great time visiting with you.
I really appreciate your time. It was a pleasure to have you on. And everyone, where can we buy your book, Quint?
Builderbooks.com or Amazon.
All right, great. Awesome. It was great to have you on. Go sell some houses.
And then please do check out NewHomeSalescom. We've got some great interviews, and congratulations on your national award. Your video is doing great, by the way.
Thank you so much. And you guys, I'll link to everything in the show notes. So go check it out. And best of luck to you, Quint, everything you do. Again, you're the hardest working professional out there. Thank you so much for all the tips you shared today. A lot of actionable ideas.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye.